Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Jennifer Quapis podcast. Today is an extra special episode because I have a very special guest joining us, my bestie, Amanda. Amanda is not just my partner in crime and confidant, but also an incredible woman with a heart of gold who makes you feel like the most important person in the room. Whether we're tackling life's biggest questions, sharing laughs over silly memories, or supporting each other through thick and thin, Amanda always brings her unique blend of wisdom, humor, positivity to the table. I am so excited to have her here today. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and join us for what promises to be an insightful and fun-filled conversation. Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited. Oh my God, that actually makes me want to cry. Your intro is really sweet.
Well, you know what? I'll record it for you. So like anytime you walk into the room, Ben can play it so everyone knows how special.
Thank you. I'll be like, hey everyone, it's me. That's so sweet. Well, I am so excited to be on your podcast, Little Missy, with the big goals and dreams. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks,
I love
girl.
you. Look at you.
I am
Getting
so
it done,
excited,
honey.
and it was only fitting that you were the very first guest on this show.
And what an honor, because truly, like, I could talk my head off with you. So
you are the sweetest, and we're going to do just that.
yes.
So we just finished the Christmas season, wrapped it all up, all the work and months of planning. How did Christmas go?
Honestly, it went so good. I am exhausted, but it was like I was in such a positive place. I feel like this whole time, like, yes, you're busy, you're doing all the things, as you know, creating all the magic. And it's like almost because I'm holding on to like these years of, the belief and everything is so special that I just enjoyed it thoroughly. So
I love hearing that. And it's so true. You just never know how many more years of that belief and magic you have left. So you have to make the best out of it.
It makes you want to puke.
I know.
Throw right up.
I know. I'm probably turning a corner here with Brooke, but it was all the things, like you said, so much work, but being in a good place is a great thing.
Yes. I feel like in years past, it's been like sometimes it seems like it's just busy, Yes. And it is. Mm-hmm. But this year I really was like, I'm focusing on all the joy and all the things that, is important to us and my kids and,
things that matter.
You're right. And it's like the outside noise had to just be quiet this year. And I really made an attempt to do that. And I feel like we did it,
Oh, that's amazing. And I agree. Yes. I agree. And it can be a challenging season. So you're absolutely right. Focusing on the things that matter about the season obviously is key.
No. And what is the date? I don't even know. The 20. Yes. I'm like, I just wrapped up yesterday with my final celebration of Christmas.
You had a lot of Christmas celebrating to do.
I sure So
I'm really proud of you for staying so positive through it all.
I did. I mean, it's this. Both of Ben and I, both of our parents, as you know, are divorced. So we have family after family and, you want everybody to feel equally special and loved and this and that while trying to do your own traditions and, with your kids that are important to your family. So here we are.
Yeah. And I know you're not alone. I'm sure there's so many people that go through that divorced family and doing the multiple Christmases too. So
yes, it's emotional.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
But I'll say, Christmas Day is the day. A couple years ago, Ben and I were like, okay, Christmas Day, enough. Like, let's put our foot down. We don't want to be toting the kids all over town. So we don't do anything on Christmas Day. And while some people are like, oh my gosh, you're not with your family on Christmas. I'm like, but I'm with them throughout the whole month. Trust me, we have 79 celebrations.
Yes. No, I absolutely love that. And as you know, we kind of did a similar thing with Christmas Eve. And it has been so special just to pause and have a moment for just the four of us to.
You guys just jamming it up on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Yeah. Christmas jammies.
Yes.
And eating in and watching movies and playing all the games. And it's just, we look forward to that day so much.
It's like your quiet day, your quiet day filled with just love and fun and,
hard change to make too, right? Like It's tough to say, no, we're not going to be there because there are invites that come through.
Yes,
So I love that listeners are hearing this too, because that's a really hard change to make for
it
mamas
is. And it
to
was
transition
awkward
to.
to be honest. At first it was like, no, we're actually not going to be doing this year. We're not going to do that. Or no, we don't really want to host that day.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that it hurt, especially my kids' grandparents, our parents' feelings. That was definitely not ever the intent. But now everybody's adjusted. But,
absolutely.
it's just a busy month and we just want our kids to know the special times too.
I absolutely love that. So what were the big items for the kids this year?
Vivi asked Santa for a saddle pad for her horse riding lesson. So she
Love.
was nervous she wasn't going to get it because she didn't know Santa could make one. And,
Yeah.
he pulled through like he does. And my sweet Benny asked for another drum set, but little guy already has one. So Santa brought him one last year. I'm like, Santa doesn't bring 2 drum sets in a row, honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Well,
he got, his new drumsticks and, other drum accessories, but
drumming stuff. Oh my gosh,
he's
I
my
love
drummer,
them.
my
And
little drummer boy.
he is, and watching him at church, sitting in that chair, doing his little drumming to all
I
the
know.
songs, like made that for me.
I'm
He
so glad.
couldn't
Because
have
I
been
think
happier.
it's like, is it annoying everybody around him?
I would hope not, because he was all in, and it was the sweetest.
I know. He loves
And
to be in
Viv,
the room.
with her horses and her
I
passion for
know.
animals, that's
I know.
my girl.
I know. What did your kids get? What was their big gifts?
Reed wanted a compound bow. His Christmas list is like my
He's a
husband's
grown man.
Christmas list.
He's a grown man.
a grown man. It was all hunting and fishing. So he couldn't be
Aw.
happier. He got his compound bow from mom and dad,
Uh-huh.
not Santa. I'm
Well,
not sure.
we're
Santa
not-
distributes weapons. So, we
Fair
just
enough.
made that one from
Fair
mom and
enough.
dad.
And that's a big gift. Mom and dad deserve that credit.
Yes,
You
agreed.
know.
Agreed. So he was more than happy, and we set up a little
Oh,
range
God.
thing downstairs. So we've been spending so much time down there so he
I
can
love
fling
that.
arrows.
I love that.
I love it. And Brooke got a laptop. So,
Oh my gosh, that's a great gift.
yeah, she's entering into middle
I was
school, and
gonna
my little
say,
creative mind, she
yes.
wanted to, edit things
Yes.
and do all the things. So it was a great gift for her, and
Yes.
I was excited, and I'm excited to see what she does with it.
I know. I can't remember if her district is 1-to-1. Do they have laptops in middle school?
That's a
I
great
don't think
question.
so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I have
so that'll
not heard
be so
that
good for her for homework
from other
and
moms.
projects and stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
other friends that I talked to were like, yeah, that would be, middle school, they're going to have homework and
Yeah.
things to write or want to look things up. So
Yeah. PowerPoints and all the
Yeah.
fun things she'll be creating.
Speaking of middle school, my little middle school teacher,
Yes.
I cannot believe Brooke is going to middle school next year.
You know what? It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. I was
Same.
thinking back on the day she was born.
Ugh.
And literally the day she was born. How did we get here? How is she going to middle school?
Everyone tells you it happened so fast, but like it truly happened so fast.
Yes, I know.
10 years. And
I know.
The 10th birthday is hard. I had a really hard time with the 10th birthday because
Yeah.
for some reason in my mind, I was like, okay, 10 years she's been here in our lives, and in less than 10 more, she'll likely already be moved out of my house.
I can't.
So that is a really hard milestone.
It is, because how fast 10 went. The first 10 went. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's going to do so good in middle school.
Well, tell us moms all about middle school, since you're living it and you're in it every day.
I am in the
what do we
thick of it.
expect?
Well, I'll say, the advice that I give to my students is like, always lead everything with kindness. If there's drama, leave it. Usually I'll say to the moms, the drama is usually in Snapchat, in the group text through Snapchat.
Okay.
Be avid lookers in your child's phone, because the way that they speak to each other is awful. Not all of them, but some of them.
For sure.
So that's always my advice at parent-teacher conferences. I'm like, get in your child's phone and make sure, to be looking at that. That's a lot of the bullying starts and things like that. But honestly, I think for parents, it's like, just create a safe space for them to come home to. Like, don't be on your phones. They tell me all the time, I don't even want to go home. My mom and dad just sit on their phone. And it's like, create an environment where they want to spend time with you. because that's going to make all the difference. They're going to
Yeah.
feel loved at home, and that'll transfer right into their relationships at school.
What powerful advice, because that breaks my heart. I wonder if these
I
parents
agree.
even know that their kids feel this way or are saying these things, because as you know, life is busy and you're trying your best to keep everything afloat. I do my grocery shopping on my phone.
I was just going to
bills
say,
on my
I'm
phone.
so guilty of it too at times,
100%. So
or it's
that
like
was
the littlest thing, like, oh, I got to order this. You jump on like Amazon real quick or Target pickup, and they're like, no, they just are on their phone. So I just go in my room and I scroll TikTok, and I'm like, for how long? Usually I'll take an after school nap and then I'm on TikTok and then I wake up. I don't fall asleep till 2. And it's like, oh gosh, and if they're opening up to me about it, it bothers them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's always my advice is love your kids. Don't just say, hey, how was school today? Good, good. Really, play a game, do something active with them to make them laugh. Laughing together is,
I absolutely
healing.
love that. Yes. Oh my gosh. And you know what I will say? Since we worked from home and then I've had to go back into the office a few days a week, I have made it a point to make sure that I am home every single time I can. It's like a hard line for me.
I know.
Just to be able to greet them at the door and say hello and give them a big hug I can see it in their faces how
like
much
they
that
need
means
it
to them.
Yeah.
So much.
They
and
need
it. I think it breaks down that whole barrier, right? Like if there's something on their heart or their mind, they're home, they're in a safe spot, and they can open up and have that communication.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
Because a lot of times too, like they'll bottle it in, or then it'll all come out. My students will be like, "Can I come to lunch? In your classroom?" And then they just want to share all the things about the drama and this and that, and it's hard to listen to because it's like these are other kids that I know too. But I always just say, you know what? There's always going to be somebody who is going to maybe be unkind one day. I said, but you don't have to absorb that. You're not what they think of you. But these are conversations too that I hope they have with their parents, because that's where it really starts.
Wow. That it's to think that all of those things and those feelings and learning how to digest and move through life starts at that young of an age.
I know. And middle school is tough, man. Think of us. Think of us in middle school.
I mean, does it get any more awkward than looking back at those stages of your life? Like it's just an awkward phase of life.
It is. And I was thinking of that too, because I was like, oh my God, in middle school, I just can't. Because I spent a lot of time at your house because my parents had just gotten a divorce.
Yeah.
And it was like, thank God.
Right.
You know what I mean? What would I have done if I didn't have like best friends to go to? It was like literally every day.
Those relationships and friendships are so important to try and harvest for your kids, but also not just like latching on to anybody. Like, you hope they find that special person that they can have that connection with, and that you love that other child's home as much as your own and those parents, because think of all the conversations you had with my parents and that we had, like you were another part of the family. You want that for your kids and those great influences.
Pull out this chair for dinner. Like I was just expected to be there.
Yeah.
And it was tough. My mom was the one that moved out. So I feel like that's where it was, my dad was still working and, God bless them both. They're both remarried and all the things. But looking back, it's like, man, that was a weird time. And especially through middle school when you're figuring it all out,
On top of it all.
I mean, you threw me a surprise birthday party at your house in your basement in middle school. You know what I mean? Like that was at your house.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Huh? Oh. I know. Like you guys were family. Yes. In a time where I desperately needed that.
Insane.
Not that I didn't have one, so that sounds bad. But
because I spent a lot of time at your house too. Yeah. You had older siblings. I learned so many things from being around them and being in your home. And I mean, they were amazing people. You just, it takes a village. It truly takes a village.
That's a great point. Because I had a village and I don't even realize at the time, it actually makes me think like I could cry about it, that I had a village, through all that.
Well, and then turn the tables. How many years when my mom is gone? I mean, your mom, your sister, you guys were there for me in so many ways, for my whole family. So it just was an evolving.
It is weird, huh?
Yeah.
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 An
Like you
evolving
just,
door of villages.
yes, you're just somebody's there for you when
Yeah.
you need it. And it's natural. It comes
Yeah.
natural. It wasn't work. It wasn't hard. You never thought
No.
about it. You just,
It's just like,
you
I'm
just
going
did
over
it.
there, you know,
Yeah.
gotta be there. Absolutely. That's true. And that's what I hope for, you know, obviously Brooke's going, but I hope that for all of our kids that they find the people that,
Yes.
you know, when you're making friends, like that person doesn't make good choices all the time, but man, they're fun to hang out with. At least I always did. I knew in my soul, like, this isn't going to be a long-term thing, but boy, this is fun for now.
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew my best friends were my sisters. You know what I mean? Just different.
Yeah. We have an amazing group, but you just have those people that are just your people.
Yeah,
Like
you do.
when something happens and you pick up your phone, you don't think about who you're messaging. You just message those people.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's like our group, our girls trip, our, you know, all of that is so special.
Okay, let's take a minute to roll into that and talk about how I know it's such a unique situation. And I kind of touched on it in my last episode, but like we literally have all been friends since through middle school, through high school. A lot of us went away to the same college. And now
it's so weird.
Here we all are back
and
in our
most of
small
us
town.
married each other.
Yep.
You know, that's bizarre.
Girl, that is such I am one of few that did not, but yes. So
but he was around,
yes,
you know, forever. You know what I mean?
So for those of you, let me get you up to speed here. All of the guy friends and girlfriends that we were all friends through middle school and high school, a lot of them married each other. So when I tell you we have a tight group, like we have
Family.
a tight group,
Yes.
like all of my guy friends and all of my girlfriends are still all of the same friends. There's very few, like Drew, my husband, that went to a different school that married into the group. And a lot of times people will ask him questions like, hey, do you remember in high school? And he was like, nope, I didn't go there, because he just has been part of the group now for so long.
Friends from his high school were like, do you remember? And he was like, no, I didn't spend time at my high school. I spent time.
No, our group will be like, hey, remember when? And he's like, I wasn't there. So funny. But I love that, because we've just, when you're in the group, it's just family, and you just, it just is what it is. But you mentioned girls trips.
Yes.
So going into that, because I know that even for our group, it's really hard for a mama to step away and go on a trip. And there's guilt or a million reasons why you shouldn't. But I think it's so important to talk about, because it is just so good for the soul.
Yeah.
I am like,
it is.
I'm refreshed. I'm energetic. Like when we come back, it's just a perfect reset, don't you think?
You know, and I'll say this, don't get me wrong. There have been years where I'm like, I don't think I can go. Oh my God, I'm going to die without my babies. You know, clearly I haven't, you know, and they're fine. That's a wonderful father and they're well taken care of. But it's the mom guilt for sure that it's like, well, I'm going to miss out on something.
Yes.
You know, but it's like, it's okay. In those 3 days, they're not going to remember, for one, you know, whatever the one little thing is that you miss out on. But it is so important, you know, once you're there. And I think especially for a mom, because we have all the files of everything in our head all the time, this, oh, I'm going to have to get more milk or this or whatever. When you go there every day on the first day, we almost don't know what to do. We're like, we're so excited. We don't know what to do because there's not a million things to do.
Right. It takes like a day to turn it off.
Yes. And it's like, okay, I don't have to chase after my kids. Nobody needs a sandwich. Anybody need anything? Who can I clean up after? But you're right. We get there. We've got 3 days and we make the absolute best of it.
You make them count.
You sure do, because you're away. So if you're not going to make it count, why are you going?
Well, and it does get easier. I mean, you're always going to miss them, and naturally they're getting older and a little more self-sufficient, and you've done it now. So you know the routine of how it goes, but it's so important to remember who you are.
Yes.
You know, not a mom, not a wife, not an employee somewhere, like you, like your
Yeah.
true self. I'm like, dang, I still got it. I'm
Yeah,
still
I can
fun.
still have
Like,
fun in my heels, honey. Mind you, they're not
yeah,
as tall as they once were. But
no,
I can still get down to my heels.
yeah. I mean, they're starting to become non-existent. Honestly, I'm
This
like,
is true.
I'll wear them and bring my flip-flops.
I know, but remember when your strap broke that one year?
I will never forget. That was the sexiest walk
You're like,
I've ever
excuse me?
done.
I'm still going to fix these and wear them because I bought these for this trip and they
Yeah.
were so cute.
So cute. Brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new. And
Yeah.
the strap broke and they were like
I
a
can't.
platform,
Mhm.
open-toed. And boy, let me tell you, walking around the wineries,
Yeah.
how great I looked, dragging a big old platform wooden bottom around. But you know what?
And you know, people
It's
were
fine.
like,
Yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah.
Girls trip.
Or like, what happened to her? Like, why does
I
she
know, is
walk like
everything
that?
okay? Did she get in a scuffle?
My shoe. It's my shoe.
You're not. Anyway, so yes, take the trips. That's the advice. Go on the trip.
Take the trips. Plan the
Yes.
trips. You
And
gotta
I'll
plan
say
it.
too, our husbands do trips as well. So
Yes.
I feel like, you know, and boy, oh boy, is our whole group so similar. Because I know that some marriages are like, I don't take trips without my husband or my spouse, you know. We just aren't that group. I'm like, oh my gosh, go golfing, have the best time ever. We'll see you in
Yes.
3 days. And then when it's
Yes.
my turn to go, wish me the best. I'm gonna have the
Right.
best time ever too.
Yes.
Which thank God, because I feel like that is what really is helpful in a marriage.
It is.
Time with your friends.
It is. Yes. You have to still be a whole ass woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let me live my life, honey.
And same for your spouse.
Yes. And
they
then we'll
need to
live
be
it
a
together
whole
when you
ass
get
person
home.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Miss
I do
me a little. And I miss them a little when they're gone.
I know, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they kill it pretty fast sometimes too when they come home, don't they? I'm like, oh my God, I missed you so much. And then I'm like, what did I miss you?
I'm so tired because they've golfed 77 rounds. And I'm like, who
take a break,
golfs
would
that
you?
much? Lay by the pool for a minute and then come home.
Right. Seriously.
Great. Now I think I just added on another day. When he listens to this, he's like, you're right. I will.
You're right.
Good advice, honey. Yeah, no kidding.
No, we're not giving that up.
I'm dying. But I don't like to fly. So as you know, that's like, my goal has got to be to not be afraid to fly. Unless I have my whole family on the plane. Because if we go down, we're all going down together. That's how my brain works.
Amanda, I know you
so
sweet,
bad.
sweet thing. Nationals
so
dance
bad.
every year.
Sweating.
You're
I'm sweating thinking about it.
Ass in the plane, just head between your knees.
I can't. One little blip. And meanwhile, like my sister's like, we're flying through air. There's going to be air pockets. I'm like,
oh my gosh. We need to, like the movie Bridesmaid, just drug you and give you cocktails. And
drug me. I think my body absorbs it because I did try Xanax once. My doctor prescribed me. Wouldn't know it.
No.
I sweat right through it.
Girl.
So bad. It is so bad. So anyways, that'll be something I'll be working on.
Okay. I like that for you.
Reference.
Speaking of working on, we are coming up on a new year. Any big plans, aspirations? What are we tackling in 2025?
So you and I talked about this last year on our little lunch date. My big New Year's resolution, and I worked so hard on it. I was super proud of myself this year. So proud of the fact that I'm going to keep it up for this upcoming year.
Tell me.
It's just if it's not something that's going to bring you joy, it's okay to say no.
Yes.
And saying no, and I think especially for a girl, is so hard. Or maybe it's our personalities, my personality. I don't know. I just want to maybe appease people in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but also it's like I cherish the time at home with my kids and my family. If I'm stepping away from that, it has to be something that just truly is like, you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. Let's fill up each other's cups and have a blast. And last year I said no to quite a few things that I was like, that is just, that's not something that I'm interested in.
So proud of you. So
Thanks.
proud of you. And that goes back to like that same whole topic of Christmas and having time with the four of you.
Yeah.
There's so many expectations on us, on
That's
our
the truth.
families.
Yeah.
And you have to be the one to carve out the time
Mhm.
for the things you want to do,
Right.
whether it be with your family or for
Mhm.
yourself
Yeah.
personally.
Mhm.
And that is okay. And I feel like there's
I
such a
know.
stigma around it not being okay to say, no,
Yes.
like can't make it.
Yeah. And
It's
the
okay.
other thing that I feel like some people have, I don't have it at all, is FOMO. Like I don't have it. So if I don't want to go,
Yeah.
I am not sitting home wishing I went type of thing. Like I'm like, you guys have the best time ever. I'm sure you will. I am so content in my choice that I don't feel that. So I think that's helpful because
Do you
some people
think
that have that
Do you
say
think you
yes.
had that before? Or do you think
Not
that's like
really.
learned because you started saying no and being like,
I
this
think
was
it got
even
better. I think it definitely got better. I've never really been one of a FOMO. For one, I'm always a homebody to begin with.
Okay. Yeah.
But I obviously used to do and say yes to everything. But since saying no, I would agree. It is so much more peaceful in it, and some people are like, I know, but when I see the posts or this or that, I'm like, oh, I should. And I'm like, I don't have that at all. But I love you and I am glad you had fun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it does. It's helpful.
That was acquired for me. I definitely
Okay.
had FOMO. I wanted to go and do all the
Sure.
things and, oh my God, what am I missing?
Sure.
But as I started to be like, something's got to change. I'm
You're
burnt
burning,
out.
yes, burning the
And
candle
then
at
when
both
I
ends.
don't have anything to do, I'm not doing anything worth value with my family or
Sure.
for myself because I'm burnt out. So once I started to,
That's a good point too.
yeah, once I
Like
started
you're so
to say
tired,
no,
you can't do anything.
then I started to realize like, oh, you don't need to be involved in everything because you can look forward to the things that you're going to plan for yourself or plan for your family in that time instead.
Yeah, that's
or maybe
a really
you just
good
need
point.
a damn break and you're not going to do anything. And
yeah,
learning
and
to be okay with
too.
that is okay too.
Yeah, because sometimes that's the mom guilt in itself. Is like, what are we doing today, mommy? It's like, everybody just needs a minute, but the kids want to go full blast, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
But you're right, and I will say too, I feel like because you and so many of our group have lost a parent or both, and me being part of it, for everybody, has made me value. It makes me emotional.
Yeah.
Value time with my friends, my loved ones, my family, my kids. I want to just soak it all in because I see it can be taken like that.
Tomorrow is not promised. Yeah.
It is not. And even then, when you look at the difference a year makes, those dang memes of Christmas, like wait a year and see what has changed. Like enjoy the moment now. And I know I'm so sensitive, clearly. I'm always a super emotional, but I don't think that people who have seen so many losses, maybe they don't understand it.
I think it's a great reminder and, dare I say, blessing to take from the loss of something as important
maybe
as a
the
parent.
one silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's changed. I think that was the driver in me having those conversations with you and saying I was doing that for myself too. Like, listen, you got to fight for what's important.
Yes.
And
everything else is just
dial
noise.
it in because you just don't know where life is going to take you. And it can be a wild ride. So absolutely. That is a powerful thing.
You have grown a lot in that aspect in regards to boundaries and keeping your peace. And like, you cannot possibly make everyone happy, not just you specifically, but a lot of you, it's hard. You cannot make everybody happy. And with Ben and I too, and the, parents, families, it's like, God, we love you all so much. We love you. But in this moment, this is what we are doing or what we need to do. And the same thing with friends and outings and events. It's like, I appreciate you and I love you. But for this one, I'm not going. I would rather be with my kids. And that's
I feel
okay.
Like we could have a whole podcast conversation on this alone because, man, that has been, that's been a tough thing to learn as an adult that I just don't feel like I was prepared for. Or that any of us are prepared for. And it's something around this age range. Because I tell you, I've had the conversation with employees, with friends at work and stuff that are going through the same thing with family. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just never think that family is going to
Right.
be the tough part of
Yeah. And I think
your life.
it's tough for me, as in like, they are heartbroken to not, and not that I even shut my, I love family time. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I guess I mean it more
Absolutely.
so with friendships and things like that. I want to spend time with my family all the time if I could. Thankfully, I work with my sister. You know, that's a
Yes.
blessing. I just need to get my brother, you know, he can be the gym teacher or something. I mean, one big happy family. But because everybody's lives are busy, and I get it, kids are in sports and travel and this and that, and some family lives far away or not. But it's like that, yes, when we are together, that is cherish time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a blessing and a bonus. So if I can't make it, I love you dearly. Don't take it personal, you know?
Yes.
And I think people do. And I don't mean it like that. I truly don't.
Yeah. I hope everybody listening to this takes that, even if you're one who gets upset if someone isn't attending something. Like,
yeah,
there's probably a bigger picture to why they're not there, and it's okay, and they still love you. Mm-hmm. That's an important
a good
reminder.
Point. Yeah, everybody's got a bigger picture some way, somehow, you know.
Yes. Man.
Are you making a resolution? Or have you thought about it?
Yes. Well, I'm still working on if it's not a yes, it's a no. That's been a solid 4 years, I think. So
it's because it's hard.
We're rolling with that one. And then I would say another big focus is always just health and well-being. Like, for me, it's just not something I can like, okay, we're going to do all these things. I have to like take little pieces of things at a time. So like, what else is in my pantry that we're consuming that we want to get rid of that isn't good for us? Or what can I replace that with? Or just how to incorporate better choices into life, because there's so many bad choices at our disposal that it's
left
tough.
And right.
I know.
Up and down, all around, truly.
Yep.
But I think that's smart, because if you go all in, you'll likely give up anyway. You know,
it's overwhelming.
Slowly. It is.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
And there's so much information that's like, is that really the best choice? You don't know. There's so much conflicting information. So
exactly,
just try to keep digesting it piece by piece, and
literally
try to live a long, healthy life.
I know. We're all working on that, aren't we?
Yes. And then personally, this is my new year. This podcast is
so proud of you.
Gonna have a lot of my dedication and focus.
Well, it's like therapy too.
It is. Yes.
It's weird.
Well, it's kind of the whole reason why I got into it, right? Like, being able to listen to a podcast, right? When I lost my mom, I am not one who likes to talk about my emotions. I learned about myself. So I was digesting things on my own, and listening to a podcast and hearing her talk about her losing her brother was like, oh my gosh, I got it. I was being able to have a conversation without having a conversation. Yeah. And understand that I wasn't alone, and hear about how other people navigated through that helped me so much. And with all the different things that I've navigated, the older I get, the more I look back at all the things that I've gone through. I'm like, why not? If I can share any of that, and it sticks or resonates with anybody, then let's do it.
And you are so strong. You've always been. I think God bless you, because if I lost one of my parents, there's no way that I could have handled it like you have.
So tough, and really thank you, but you're not given a choice. Your choice becomes survive and rise above and still live a meaningful life, or let it consume you. Right. And that's one of the toughest things about going through something like that, because
you're absolutely right. You can't hide in a hole.
Neither direction is easy.
Right. Well,
yeah. Well, all right. So I have one last question that I'm going to ask all my guests. And that is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received from somebody?
It's so funny. My mom used to always say growing up to always stick up for the underdog. And I have since been teaching Vivian, Benny's not quite ready yet. And she's like, what's an underdog? And I'm like, oh, sweetie, it's not an actual type of pet. But so explaining that to her, and I see it, and I tell my middle schoolers, I'm like, always stick up for the underdog. Don't be one that just stands around. If somebody's getting picked on, stop it, redirect, do something. You know, I feel like you can make the difference by just sticking up for the underdog, you know, when they
What
don't
a
have
tried and true
that
piece of
support.
advice
I
that'll live
know.
on through
And
the
it's so
decades.
silly. Literally was in 5th grade when that
Mhm.
starts. You stick up for the underdog. Somebody was getting picked on, and my mom's like, oh, you better stick up for that. I'm like, I will. And I did. And I do. I don't
I
like
love
people
that.
getting picked on. No way.
Yeah, and you see it, as you mentioned, day in and day out.
Yes.
So what a great piece of
Yes.
advice to share with everybody
Yeah.
else.
Sounds silly, but it sticks.
It's great.
Thanks.
And since you're my first guest, I'm going to share mine.
Please
It
do.
was from Grandpa Pete, who
Oh.
told me that I should never commit to being in a relationship with someone who isn't willing to work as hard as you do.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta have a middle ground.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
putting in all the work.
So
Good old Grandpa Pete.
I know, was dating someone all through high school, on and off, break up, get back together. And then, you know, we're going to be seniors and what our aspirations were. And, you know, maybe his weren't aligning to what mine were. And so he pulled me aside probably during another breakup and said that piece of advice. And I was like, wow, what does
Yeah.
life look like if you're have one person who's hitting the ground running and
It
wants
would
to
be
do
awful.
da 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 da, and this person's just okay in another
Mhm.
place? That would
Yeah.
be very tough. So
Yeah. How did I never hear that advice? I love that.
really,
And
I'm
so
glad I
true.
shared.
I'm so glad you shared that with me, because truth be told, but I
Yeah.
think that's what is making it all work in our
Yes.
relationships. We're all hitting the ground running, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody's just being mediocre.
Nope. Everyone's on the same page and wants the best for
Yeah.
all
a
the
beautiful
things.
thing.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad you joined me.
I'm so glad
we
this was
did
so
it.
fun. I'm so proud of you.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
And I look forward to celebrating this
Yes.
step that we just
Absolutely.
overcame together. Again,
Yay.
another chapter we've
I know.
entered and left together.
I love it. I love you so much.
I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks
Okay.
for joining.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, what an incredible conversation that was. A huge thank you to my best friend Amanda for joining us today and sharing her journey, wisdom, and a lot of laughs. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Remember, it's conversations like these that remind us of the power of connection, support, and friendship. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating, or a review. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach more amazing listeners like you. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories, insightful discussions, and a whole lot of fun in upcoming episodes. Until next time, keep shining, keep striving, and most importantly, keep being you.